Alright, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. This is Brother Azariah from W5, Jersey, Philly, coming back with another video, giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, Shalom. Our Lord willing, you brothers and sisters, you waxing mightier and mightier in your faith, and if it be in the will of the Lord, you're also increasing in your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in these last days. Alright, so real quick, today at camp, we seen about 30 to 40 chariots above the camp, man. Alright, and it was a beautiful sight, man. Alright, let me grab this precept real quick. You got some brothers that say, oh, that brother lying. He didn't see 30 to 40 chariots. That's never been seen before. Alright, well, you gotta realize we're in the last days, and there's a lot of videos of chariot sightings. I believe there was some brothers that was recording, but again, through the through the spirit, the brother was teaching, and it was 30 to 40 chariots up there. It was a host of chariots, man. This is the book of Romans 1 and verse 9. It says, "For Yahweh is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers." So the Lord, he's the witness, man. All right, the Lord, he's the one that sent them angels up there while we was at camp, man. All right, and that's a beautiful sight. Now the Lord, he doesn't only have 40 to 30 chariots. All right, although that was a beautiful thing to see, and that was a lot of chariots, man. I never seen that many chariots at one time. That's the first time I ever seen it. It may not happen again. But you got to realize, they call him the Lord of hosts. So those 30, 40 chariots you seen, all right, those 30 to 40 chariots might just be appointed to one city or two cities in the day of destruction. He may send 40 chariots to one city, then another 40 to another city, all right? But the Lord, he has thousands and thousands of angels gathered around about him, all right? Let me get this in Daniel 7 and verse 9. All right. It's the book of Daniel 7, and I'm going to start at verse 9. And it reads, it says, "I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit." The Ancient of Days is the Most High God, Yahweh. All right? His days are innumerable. That's why he's called the Ancient of Days. "Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire." So he has chariots as burning fire round about him. It says, "A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands," it says thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened." So you have thousands and thousands of angels sitting round about the throne, worshiping the Heavenly Father. All right? So as we see in the Lord, he has a multitude of angels. Let me get another one in Hebrews 12 and 22. All right, this is the book of Hebrews 12 and verse 22. It says, "But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels." See that? So there's an innumerable amount of angels. All right, just like we seen those 30 to 40 chariots, soon we gonna see the whole sky covered with these chariots, man. All right, and these chariots, they're not coming. They have two missions. All right, one of those missions is to destroy man on the earth. That's one of the missions of these chariots. Let's go to Zechariah 5th chapter. All right, this is the book of Zechariah 5, and I'm going to start at verse 1. All right, this is Zechariah 5 and 1. It says, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll." So he's seen a chariot. All right, it says, "And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth." So this chariot that he's seeing, it wasn't really a good thing for certain people. It was a curse that goeth over the whole entire earth. Because these chariots, they're going to destroy your enemies. All right? Let me get this in the book of 2 Maccabees 10. I'm going to start at verse 29. All right? These chariots, these engines of war, that's what they are. They're engines of war. All right? They were made partially to bring destruction on the earth. This is the book of 2 Maccabees 10 and verse 29. It says, but when the battle waxed strong, there appeared unto the enemies from heaven 5 comely men upon horses. So these are angels. And we know when the angels are around, they got their chariots. It says, with bridles of gold, and 2 of them led by the Jews. So I can led the Jews. And took Maccabeus betwixt them, and covered him on every side with their weapons, and kept him safe. But shot arrows and lightnings against the enemies, so that being confounded with blindness and full of trouble, they were killed. So some people are misled. All right, they think God is all about saving people, and he's gonna just cause everybody to get into these chariots, and everyone's gonna be saved, and everything's gonna be all willy-nilly. All right, we just looked into an account where he showed you these chariots, all right, which are the vehicles of the angels. They were used to destroy men on the earth. That's the curse of this flying robe, because when it comes, it's going to destroy man. All those that have wrongfully or despitefully entreated the people of Israel, they misused us, they misguided us, they taught us falsehood. Those that even persecuted Yahushua, they're going to see these angels and they're going to be scared, man. They're going to see these big old chariots and they're going to say, is that a damn UFO? And they think aliens going to come out of there. But to their astonishment, they're going to see a so-called black man coming out of these, standing upon a chariot. All right? Remember you read in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, hey, he's literally standing on this chariot. You're going to see him, man. This is the book of Revelation 1 and verse 7. All right, and it reads, it says, Salakia, behold, he cometh with clouds. So Yahushua is coming with clouds. Now, is this an actual cloud? The Lord coming with a nimbus cloud, all right, or a rain cloud? Or maybe it's a thunder cloud. That's not what the hell this is going into. This is talking about the chariots, man. The so-called UFOs, as people may know. All right? This is the book of Psalms 104 and verse 3. All right, it reads. This is Psalms 104 and verse 3. It says, who laid the beams of his chambers in the waters. So his chambers, which is the chariot, it lays beams down. If you just look up a UFO, or even if you have watched a movie that had UFOs in it, all right, they always shot down beams. And then you'll have E.T., for example. He came out of a blue beam. All right, the Lord said he layeth his beams, and read it again, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters. So he's already telling you this is a so-called UFO, a chariot. All right, or cloud, or a flying robe. Or they're also called wheels as well in the scriptures. All right, it says, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. All right, so the Lord makes the clouds his chariots. So going back to Revelation 1 and 7, it says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. So it's not going to be, you know when a movie comes out and you kind of miss the movie. All right, that's not what this is. This movie, this is for everybody to see. You're going to have it on the Jumbotron. All right, it's going to be on your TV. You're going to try to watch something else. And you know how those emergency alerts from the state kind of interrupt the program? Hey, that's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to interrupt the regularly scheduled program, Slakia. He's going to cut the original program, and then you're going to see the Lord standing on a chariot, man. And he's going to look like a man of war, because that's what he's coming to do. He's coming to make war on this earth, man. Let me go to Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, so the Lord, he's not playing games. All right, this is Revelation 17 and verse, I start at 13. It says, these have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, These shall make war with the Lamb. The Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So the Lord, he's going to end this war between him and the other nations that are going to try to fight round about him, all right, and against him. Not the angels, well, the evil angels, Esau's angels, they're going to actually try to subdue the Lord. And that's going to be futile. All right? It's going to come to none avail. They can't fight against God. His power is too great, man. All right? But you see, these are the days that's coming. When you see these different chariot sightings, don't think it's just for no reason. You know, the Lord just wants to show off. He's just showing off. So he kind of sends chariots to camp or wherever you at. And you kind of look up, say, well, you know, that is a chariot. All right, and the Lord, he's not really planning to do nothing with these chariots. As I said, the Lord, he's a man of war. Didn't he tell you that? Let me grab this real quick. All right, it's a classic. I don't really hear this come out no more. It's the book of Exodus 15 and verse 3. It says, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. So the Most High, he's about war. All right? That's what he's coming to do. He's coming to judge and to make war on this earth, man. Let me go to Revelation 19, verse 11. All right? This is the book of Revelation 19, and I'm going to start at verse 11. And it reads, it says, and I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. See that? So he's coming to judge and make war. And again, you're going to have these chariots that right now we're seeing, and they're not really doing nothing. You don't see the chariots attacking people. You don't see lightning bolts coming out of these chariots. But when Yahushua comes back and you do see these vehicles of war, best believe lightning bolts are going to be shot out from them. And they're going to come down, lay their beams down, and scorch men on the earth. All right, it's going to be like a damn movie. All right? And this is the best movie you ever seen in your life, man. All right? Some people going to die in this movie, and some people going to make it. All right? So you got to watch and endure, and Lord willing, you the brother or sister that makes in this thing. All right? It'll be a shame, you know, to kind of get destroyed by a chariot of God. In a blink of an eye, you're gone. You may have lived until you was 50, 30, 20 years old, and then when the Lord came back, he kind of just killed you with a chariot. So you lived 20 years on this earth in the flesh in vain. You lived 30 years on the earth in vain. 50 years on the earth in vain, man. All right? Let me go to the book of Isaiah. This is another classic right here. All right? Isaiah 66 and verse 15. All right? So this is the book of Isaiah 66 and verse 15. All right? And it reads, it says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Because remember, the Lord, he has been holding his peace. All right, he kind of let man do what they want for a little while. All right, on a carnal level, he let them do what they wanted to do. All right, but soon, the Lord, he's coming to bring judgment, man. This is the book of Isaiah 42 and verse 13. It says, the Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. So he's not Jesus Christ. All right, that's not the Lord. Because Jesus Christ, he looks effeminate. All right, he looks like a damn, he looked like a children's doll. All right. You know, these little girls, when they're growing up, they kind of play with the dolls and they combing out the long hair. All right. And they playing ribbons and putting a damn ponytail on his head. All right. That's what that Jesus Christ character looks like. You think the Lord that we're reading about in the Bible, you think that's him right there? Hell no, that's not him, man. All right. The Lord is a so-called black man, dark-skinned man, the voice of many waters. All right. You see, you kind of pick up the microphone and speak with the microphone, and people can hear you blocks away. Hey, the Lord, he doesn't need a microphone, man. He speaks firm and strong and powerful, man. and his eyes are red as a flame of fire. So you see, you look at the Lord. If you look at the Lord, you see the Lord, you know he's not playing games. Let me get a precept real quick. All right, this is the book of Matthew. All right, the 7th chapter. All right, this is Matthew 7, and I'll start at verse 28. It says, and it came to pass, when Yahushua had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, not as the scribes. So the scribes, they had some type of authority. Because remember, he said that they sit in Moses' seat. But he didn't speak as the scribes. All right, he spoke in a different manner. His voice was very stern. He had the voice of many waters, as we read in Revelation, the 1st chapter. All right? And when he spoke, he wasn't speaking like he's scared. You know, he's kind of, I think you got to keep the commandments. Or he's coming and he's saying, I'm here to serve God. I'm here to do the will of him that sent me. No, he was saying, I'm here to do the will of him that sent me, man. All right? Hey, if you don't believe on me, you're not going to make it. That's how the Lord was speaking. He was speaking as a mighty man of war. Let's go back to Isaiah 42 and 13. It says, the Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yeah, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies, man. He says, I have long time holding my peace. Because this earth has waxed worse from each year that continue to pass by on this earth. The world has waxed worse and worse. Men have blasphemed the name of God more and more. Sin is a thing to be a value. All right, sin has value in this world. People actually want to sin. People gravitate to sin, and they really despise righteousness, man. So the Lord, he's been sitting back and he's been watching all this, man. All right, and he can't wait to come and destroy his enemies. And 2/3 of you Israelites that walk past God's words, you scoff at the Bible. Oh, the Bible's the white man's book. Y'all keep reading that stupid book. You got people that say things like that. All right. Earlier there was a sister where I was teaching, and I was telling her how Islam is folly. Her being in Islam is folly. She had a bogey in her hand. She took the last hit of the bogey, and the brother that was recording, she kind of threw the bogey down at the brother's feet in disrespect, man. So you people have been mocking God's messengers as well. The Lord said, again, I have long time holding my peace. Just like when you got a kid and you kind of send him to school, and then you keep hearing your son come back to you, and your son keep telling you, there's a school bully. He keeps taking my money. Now, the money that your son has is not really his money. He don't got a job. He only 10 years old. What job he got? Hey, the money he got is coming from you. You paying for his lunch. You paying for his clothes. You paying for his shoes. He damn going to school. His shoes is gone. He talking about the school bully took it. All right, that's us. That's a parable. That's a parable I just threw out there, and that's literally us. We're going out there, and there's a school bully, and that school bully is the so-called white man. And he's taking your shoes. He's taking everything that belongs to you. Everything that the Most High has gave us that has value, and he's been stripping that from you. All right? He went as far as to take your nationality from you, man. See that? So, hey, when that child goes back to his father and tells him about that school bully, he's kind of getting mad. He's like, all right, I'm not going to go to the school yet. Then your son come back and say, he stole my money. I didn't eat lunch. Then you're like, know what? Enough is enough. You kind of getting mad and angry, scratching your head. All right? And then you end up going to the school and causing havoc, man. You get things done. That's what the Most High is about to come and do. I'm going to read this again from the top. This is the book of Isaiah 42 and verse 14. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman, and I will destroy and devour at once. So the Most High, he's coming, Yahushua, he's coming to devour at once, man. He's going to destroy our enemies before us. Let me go to the book of Psalms 3 and verse 7. All right? It's the book of Psalms 3 and verse 7. It says, arise, O Lord, save me, O Yahweh, O my God, Salakia. For thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. Thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. Salvation belongeth unto the Lord. Thy blessing is upon thy people, Salah. So the Lord, he's coming to destroy his enemies and our enemies as well with them chariots. All right. And then also what comes with that as well is the salvation of the children of Israel. All right. I'm going to close out with the book of Isaiah 26 and verse 20. So this is the book of Isaiah 26 and verse 20. All right, bear with me. And it reads, it says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers. The chambers is the chariots. Because remember, those chambers that belong to the Lord, those are also for us. So he's telling us to come into the chariots. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. Because the Lord's going to bring destruction as I'm going into, man. And he said, hey, come into these chariots while this indignation is overpassed, is happening. Just like in old Egypt. Remember in old Egypt, all hell was breaking loose, and the Lord, he kind of preserved us. Real quick, all right, I'm going to end with this, Lord willing. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon 17, and I'm going to start at verse 14. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 14. Now this is speaking about what happened in Egypt. It says, but they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell. So he's speaking about the darkness that he sent on the land. Remember, he made it so dark that, say for example, a man is standing right in front of you. If I turn off the lights like this, if someone's in front of me, I can see him still. But the Lord made it so dark that, hey, you can feel the darkness, he said, man. You can feel it. Imagine being able to touch the darkness. That's how thick it was. All right? So the Lord, he brought an intolerable, let me read that again. It says, but they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable. Because you know when a kid, he has nightmares, or, well, a young child, he doesn't really like to sleep with the lights off. That's why they got night lights. And then they'll also try to keep the light on. Whatever bit of light they have that they can keep on, whether it's the TV, the night light, or the lamp, they try to keep it on. Because a lot of times, all right, so say, for example, that you leave the kid that he's scared of the darkness. You leave him in the dark to fall asleep, and then he ends up having nightmares. That's what's happening to these Egyptians. All right, they're scared for their life. Because at the same time in this darkness, they're hearing sounds, as we're going to read. All right, so that sleep that night, it was intolerable, man. It was the hardest night of their life. All right, verse 15, were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions. So they were seeing things, all right, and partly fainted, their heart failing them for a sudden fear, and not looked for came upon them. So then whosoever there fell down was straitly kept, shut up in a prison without iron bars. So that prison was talking about the darkness, because there was no escaping it. There was no key. There was no spare key. You kind of open up the darkness and unlock the darkness. Then the light is open unto them. All right. They were locked in iron bars. Verse 17. For whether he were husbandman or shepherd or a laborer in the field, he was overtaken and endured that necessity. Right. And this same thing is going to happen soon. All these things we're reading about, all right, they're going to be plagued here in Babylon. Your enemy's going to be plagued. All right, and they're going to have to deal with it. All right, they have to, like it just said, let me read that again, verse 17. For whether he were husbandman or shepherd or laborer in the field, so the Lord don't care who you are. You could be Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, George Bush, all right, slacky, my phone about to die, Nixon, Ronald Reagan, Roosevelt. It don't matter who you are, man. And you can be a store clerk, all right? You can be as small as just a store clerk. He don't give a damn who you are. It says he was overtaken and endured that necessity. It was a necessity for these Egyptians to feel the wrath of the Lord, because they continuously serve the children of Israel with rigor and bondage. That's what they're doing here in America. So Lord willing, when we're beamed up in these chariots and the destruction is taking place, hey, they have to deal with it. It's a necessity. Didn't the Lord said, be not mocked? Aslaki, he said, let me grab it real quick. All right. This is the book of Galatians 6 and verse 7. All right, Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So whatever you put forth out there on the earth, you got to deal with it. They made us to serve in bondage. They put us in captivity. Okay, well, the Lord, he has placed for you. It's a necessity for you to deal with this. All right? Continuing on to verse 17. It says, or a laborer in the field, he which could slack you. He was overtaken and endured that necessity, which could not be avoided. For they were all bound with one chain of darkness, whether it were a whistling wind or a melodious noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stones cast down, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beasts. So imagine this pitch black dark, and like I said, you could feel the darkness. And you just hear goats running, lions. You can't see a damn thing. You're paranoid. You're terrified, man. All right. It says, or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains. These things made them to swoon for fear. Verse 20, this is the point. For the whole world, now this is not, it's clearly not talking about the whole world. All right, we're going to finish it to prove that. It says, for the whole world shine with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. Who is that speaking about? That's speaking about Israel. In Egypt, when they had this thick darkness over the land, we was in light. We had light. Just like I have the light here, all right, we were fine. But in the next room over, you had the Egyptians. They was terrified because of the darkness that was on the land. That was the whole world. Let's go to the book of Exodus 10 and verse 22. And that's another precept you can use to cut John 3:16 right there. All right. This is Exodus 10 and verse 22. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. That's what it meant by they were bound in iron bars. All right, because they had to dwell in their house in that darkness. They had to deal with it because you couldn't find the door. All right, you didn't want to trip and fall on something, and then your damn life was over. All right, so they were locked in their house for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So that was that whole world that we just read about. Let me read that one more time. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 20. For the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. See that? So the children of Israel, they shined in that while there was darkness. Meanwhile, Egypt was being plagued. Israel was kind of fine. We was at the dinner table, laughing, playing games with one another, having a good sleep. All right, those are probably the best nights we had in our life, because we know our enemies were being plagued in the next city over. All right, that's going to happen in these last days, and we're going to be beamed up in the chariots, and we're going to watch our enemies fall and be destroyed before us, man. And that's going to take place with the chariots of God. All right, so don't take these sightings for nothing. Don't think it's a joke. The Lord, he's showing us day in and day out that he's coming to bring salvation and destruction. So with that, I'm going to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ, and Kwame Yashala.